Yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. On the other side, obviously, going up against Daxe is Zidane. I know that he's got a huge following at home back in Spain, and everyone is going to be putting Vamos in the chat and really encouraging their man to perform well here and find his way into a huge game of either taking on F2 Tex or taking it on Megabit in that Xbox final. So a lot on the line for him, really representing a nation here, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he brings to the table as we are about to get into our first leg here.
Well, one thing that Zidane does bring to the table is goals. He has the second highest amount of goals scored on the Xbox side of things with 28 scored, a conversion rate of 37% shots to goal ratio as well. He knows how to put that ball into the back of the net.
One very interesting thing I've just seen here tactically from PSG's Daxe, using the Team of the Year foot item, Luka Modric at right cam. Usually you see one of the paciest players, you know, Mbappe, Eusebio, for example, out there, Neymar, but he's actually playing Luka Modric out there, and with such all-rounded stats, I find that very interesting. It means he's going to be able to offer him not only things going forward, but going backwards as well. He's going to be able to win that ball back.
It is an interesting one because that right cam position, of course, contests left back, which is where we see a lot of the headers happen, and Luka Modric, is he going to win a header? That remains to be seen. However, in-game, of course, you've got dynamic tactics. Maybe things can be switched around a little bit, and we might see Modric just drift into the middle. Speaking of the middle, it's the main man, R9, who is just going to be trying to play this ball around on the outside of the box.
So then Daxe teasing away, and Zidane almost manages to slide the ball through there into the feet of N'Golo Kante, but Daxe doing what Daxe does now, taking his time, being patient, just waiting for that little opening, and there it is. Mbappe strikes it, and Daxe is straight into the lead. 1-0, he finds the killer pass, and Kylian Mbappe finds a killer finish too.
And Daxe was looking for it, he was searching, he was waiting for that man just to make the run. It was pass after pass after pass. He wasn't taking one of those shots from outside the box. He knew he had Zidane on the back rope. Zidane was just constantly pressing and pressing, trying to get close to the ball. And Daxe was like, oh, this is going to play perfectly into my game. He's got the Luka Modric. He has the chance to just kind of play around with it on the outside of the box and make those passes. And this is the perfect start for Daxe. But as I said, he does need to press on. When he sat on small leads, that's when he suffered at most recent tournaments.
So then, it's the first real time that we've seen Zidane, with the ball at the start of this game. Daxe did a great job of controlling the pace at the start of this game and making the most of his opportunity to go forward. And it's going to be Marcelo who actually manages to nip in there and make an interception, but good pressure here coming in from Zidane. He wins the ball back almost immediately, and Daxe almost makes a little mistake at the back now. Switches the ball now out to Sergio Ramos, and look at the space that there was in behind momentarily. But Daxe, again, playing the way that he feels comfortable, just building this attack. And now he comes forward as N'Golo Kante is on the ball.
And we talk about pressure, and we say that Daxe is probably maybe slightly feeling the pressure because he is expected to win these games because he is higher in the Global Series rankings, etc., yada, yada. But at the same time, Zidane, this is his first big tournament. This is his first real chance to get himself high up those leaderboards with those Global Series ranking points. So that adds pressure to itself.
Well, De Gea comes out and gets a good hand on that one. It was tremendous pace and strength from Kylian Mbappe to keep Raphael Varane off of the ball there as that ball was played in behind. Well defended, though, by Daxe. Neymar wins it back for Zidane again, and not for the first time in this game. We've seen a little bit of a lazy pass from Daxe, but doesn't cost him this time. He will win possession back, and now he comes forward again. Neymar to Modric, and Kante comes to join the attack as well.
And look how Zidane is trying to defend against these balls. He keeps switching to those fullbacks because he sees Mbappe making those runs. That's one thing that the Team of the Year foot item does extremely well, is how he positions himself in the runs that he makes off the ball. He almost does half the work for you. As long as you see the pass and play that pass, he's going to be in the right position at the right time, and that is something fantastic to add to your team.
So the game has kind of slowed down a little bit here after the early action, after Daxe got into the lead with that goal from Kylian Mbappe. Now Zidane comes forward once more. A little foul going to be given away. Referee decides to bring the game back there instead of letting that episode of play just run on a little bit longer. Now Zidane has to build again. Look at the amount of players that Daxe has behind the ball, though. But that little ball in behind is going to create a bit of space. And now R9's turning, finds the ball back to Mbappe. Can he find the pass? No. Rio Ferdinand will get there and make that interception.
And you can see both players, they're trying to play this passing game, trying to find that extra pass in the box so they can get that one-on-one situation with the goalkeeper. They're not being able to take shots from outside the box because both of them are playing this kind of formation, the 4-2-3-1. You've got the two CDMs dropping back, But this is the chance when you get those through balls to get on goal. And that is going to be just offside, but you could even see there again, Daxe playing pass after pass after pass, just waiting for that right moment, hoping he's going to get that perfect opportunity on goal.
Oh, unfortunately for Zidane, a little bit of a smile on his face there because his centre-back decided to give the ball straight back to Daxe via a throw-in. Pass straight out of play. And here comes the Frenchman once more then. Kante into Hullet. Just waiting for that movement in front of him. Never afraid to go backwards here, Daxe, but that's another little lazy pass. And look at the spacing behind, but what a tackle from Rio Ferdinand there. He committed to that one, Daxe, to win the ball back. He had to make the tackle when he did do so.
Usually Daxe is more than happy to kind of sit back and say, all right, I'm going to allow you to get into my final third, and that's when I'm going to apply a little bit of pressure. I'm going to have 10 men who are going to drop behind the ball. You're going to find it very hard to actually get a pass off or even a shot. But in those kind of scenarios where he's made a mistake, he knows he needs to apply pressure before things get dirty, before things get a bit nasty in the last third. There's those crosses that are so dangerous.
The ball's falling. Oh, De Gea falls on it, though.
My goodness, there was a fumble in the box, and that could have gone anyway. And Zidane will see that, and he'll see that as an opportunity mark. He knows there's going to be chances.
Well, here is Kylian Mbappe then. Flicks that one in towards Ronaldo, wins the header, times it green. But the pressure from the centre-back made sure that there wasn't too much venom in that header. And the ball just looped fairly comfortably into the hands of David De Gea.
And we saw how Dr. Hano used the height of Ronaldo against Marcelo at the back post effectively when in his win against Nicolas just now. And maybe Zidane has noticed that as well and is trying to implement that into his own game. But PSG Daxe is making it very difficult for Zidane to even get in those crossing positions, let alone get into his own half of the pitch.
So Zidane then. One Mbappe loses out to another. Daxe comes forward. There's a run in behind the fullback again from Mbappe. Actually changed the angle of his run there. Again, Zidane has defended this quite well, to be fair. Only that one chance early on. One clear-cut chance for Daxe. On the other end, Zidane's been a little bit unfortunate just in that final third. Has been in some nice positions, some threatening positions, but just hasn't been able to connect the dots when it comes to finishing off that chance or creating that opportunity to strike a goal.
And Daxe really utilising the fullbacks going forward as well. Marcelo very attacking, of course, with his work rates. And he's getting him involved on the left because it then allows Mbappe to make space out on the left himself, a little bit further up the pitch.
Ball into R9, Mbappe looking dangerous here. Modric now, great ball! Just couldn't find the finish though.
Fantastically worked football though.
It's beautiful to watch.
It really has been a very back and forth passing game. The majority of possession has been in favour of Daxe, and he, even though he is on drop back and he is defending quite deep, he's using those fullbacks and his left and right wing to really attack Zidane when Zidane's going forward, just right at the halfway line. To say, if you don't beat me at the halfway line, if you can't get that ball past, I'm going to win it very high up the pitch, and I have a chance to hit you with some pass and moves.
The pace that you have on those centre-back foot items as well, the likes of Ferdinand and Varane. See Ferdinand with 80-plus pace, Varane with 90-plus pace. You can afford to play a little bit of a high line, even with the high-pace players you have going forward, because they will make that ground up. It's not going to be like they're just going to streak away and leave you in a 1v1 situation. So Daxe understanding that playing a slightly higher line can be of benefit. Here's Hullet then. Kante around the corner now to Neymar. And this is where you'll see Daxe start to burst into life. This is where the passes will get a little bit quicker, just as he approaches the edge of that 18-yard box. Ramos comes and joins the attack now. Modric doesn't find that pass, and now this is the danger if you're Daxe. Getting caught on that counter-attack, but N'Golo Kante doing what he does in real life, and just as the danger was starting to develop, he sniffs it out, wins the ball straight back for the Frenchman.
And Daxe is really trying to be unpredictable. There were several times during that attack where Mbappe was so free, acres of space on the left, and Zidane dragged a man across to try and preemptively defend against it, but it didn't work out because Daxe said, no, I'm not going to go for the obvious play, I'm going to play it right instead. It didn't work out on this occasion, but I can appreciate what he's trying to do. He's trying to get in the head of Zidane, he's trying to do things a little bit differently, trying to catch him off guard going forward. But he still has that 1-0 lead, but he is still trying to press on. He's looking for that second goal, which is what we know he needs to grab, because in FIFA 19, you are always kind of exposed to these counter-attacks and how easily sometimes it can be for a player to get back into the game from just something as simple as a corner.
Run from Mbappe there, and again, Daxe chooses not to use it instead. Maybe looking for the spacing behind created by that run. Pull it now. Uses Kante, Modric playing in that left cam position, like we mentioned. Excuse me, the right cam position. Now Modric with the drag back. Look at this run inside from Hullet. It's beautiful again from Daxe. Oh, he is creating a work of art with some of these goals that he is scoring. It's 2-0 now to the Frenchman. And he just painted the most beautiful picture.
And it's just constant passes in the midfield. Twice again, Mbappe's making that run out on the left. Zidane switches over to the right back to stop the run. Daxe sees it, goes the other way, plays a couple of 1-2s. Zidane drags one centre-back out of position, and that just allows that run through from Hullet. And now he's got that two-goal cushion that he's been so desperately searching for. And he's been keeping Zidane at bay as well. Zidane hasn't had too many chances on goal. Daxe really dominating this game.
Very quick player switching in defence as well from Daxe, which just means that he kind of offers up a passing lane and then switches back to the player and cuts it off just as you think that opening is there to find a pass forward. So we're praising some of the beautiful stuff we're seeing from him going forward. Really has been an example of the beautiful game in attack from Daxe in this one, but defensively he's been so solid as well.
Here's a fun fact for you.
Hit me.
In this format, so every time that Daxe has played in this format, there was a FUT Cup, which was a slightly different format, so we'll pretend that didn't happen just for this statistic. Daxe has only ever conceded 12 goals. In this tournament so far, he's conceded 12 goals. So does that mean that he's going to go on to either win and not concede another goal for the rest of this tournament? Who knows?
Okay.
It's looking good at the moment. He wants to make it 3 in a row of just 12 goals conceded at tournaments.
I'm sure you can ask him at the end if he was happy with how many goals he concedes if he picks up that check. I'm sure he won't mind.
I'm sure he won't know how many goals he conceded.
That's also a very good point.
That's my job. That's for me to just analyse. He'll just be more than happy to get a victory each time, I believe.
So then, around 20 minutes left of our first leg here. And it has been the Daxe show. And this is what you see sometimes when you are watching PSG's Daxe play. It just seems like he's the one in control of the game at all times. You play at his pace. And now, it's Eusebio who's just going to bully that player off the ball. And that's kind of left forward position. Kante now, we know he can hit them. Vieira, though, comes in and wins that ball back. And a 2-goal lead is a dangerous lead, Dan, especially in FIFA 19, especially with that second leg to come. So if Zidane can find a goal here towards the end of this game, then it starts to ask questions of Daxe.
I mean, strangely, you are right. A lot of 2-goal leads have gone amiss. Not just throughout this tournament, but last weekend as well in Bucharest, in previous weekends during FUT Cups and LQEs. It does seem to be one of the most difficult scorelines to defend against because you get put in a strange mindset of, should I be holding the ball and holding possession, or should I be going for that third goal? As there is an offside there to stop Daxe going for the third, but I think that's what has made Daxe different in this tournament. He has gone for those third goals in comparison to his previous tournaments where he's just decided to kind of play more defensive and try and hold on to a 2-goal lead.
I think he's just continued what puts him into the 2-goal leads. I think it's maybe a case of he was just overcomplicating things at certain times. You know, as you say, trying to just keep possession and instead of going forward and just playing the killer passes when required, he's just kept it simple, kept doing what he's doing, and so far here in London it has worked.
Can we appreciate what a good job Kante's done in midfield for Daxe as well? It's been relentless, just chasing everything, and that is what Kante is putting a team for. His work rates really are incredible, and he does seem to be everywhere on the pitch, just zipping around, kind of just nipping at everyone's heels. And it's made it so difficult for Zidane to go forward.
Lionel Messi then on the pitch here for PSG's Daxe, goes round the corner, it's the long way round Laurent Blanc, and it was a very long way as Blanc came back in to win that ball. Goal kick here for Zidane, and this might be one of the last chances to potentially go forward for the Spaniard.
I mean, when you're going up against Daxe, you probably have to assume that every attack could be your last because Daxe does hold the ball so efficiently and his possession game is fantastic. But Zidane hasn't been able to get that ball past the halfway line for the majority of this game.
Look at this running behind from R9. Doesn't use him, uses Messi instead. The little fake shot to get the room. Zidane moves his goalkeeper across to keep it at a 2-goal difference between these two players.
And that's maybe the first finesse shot we've seen from outside the box from Daxe this game. Just saving it till late on, just testing Zidane, saying, Well, do we think he is moving his goalkeeper? Maybe he's not expecting it because I've been trying to pass it into the box every time. Let's see if he's switched on. Let's just have a little teaser. Thankfully for Zidane, he was switched on. He did see it coming.
And the thing is here, you only feel there's going to be one player who's going to score at the end of this game. And that is going to be the man with a 2-goal lead at the moment. But as I say that, there's a running behind here from Cristiano Ronaldo. Eusebio comes forward for the Spaniard. Cristiano Ronaldo, nice little flick out to Vieira. Mbappe now just about keeps that one inside the touchline. Now here's Ronaldo on the edge of the box. Great tackle from Daxe though. Ferdinand closed down that space expertly. Messi sends it forward, and PSG's Daxe at the end of our first leg will have a 2-goal advantage.
And not only has Daxe done fantastically to close down so quickly in those situations, but it's also knowing how incredible some of those icon defenders are, that you can lunge in with those tackles, that you can win those tackles if you take the risk. It can be a risk sometimes, because if the player turns and shows their back, you might just draw a foul, and then suddenly that's a free kick in a very dangerous area, especially in the penalty area as well. That's something you don't want to be going down the line. But a very, very strong and commanding game from Daxe, exactly the first leg that he needed. For Zidane, I mean, let's be honest, he didn't really do much in that game. He didn't get given the chance to. He was cut off so often at the halfway line. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, it was a tough first leg for him, and then you can see at the moment his coach having a serious word in his ear, definitely talking tactically. And if I was him, I'd go back and look at players who have had success against Daxe. The likes of, you know, there's attacking players. The 4-2-2 has been effective against him. Maybe even the 4-3-3 attacking that we saw Lost in the Waves be successful with in the last 2 tournaments. Well, the last tournament for sure, obviously, didn't get out with Swiss, unfortunately, this time, but it was a very, very tight game with Stefano Pina that knocked him out. But I think that's the way you have to play. You have to try and make the most of those opportunities. And when you do win that ball back, be able to get it up front quickly. Give yourself attacking options to then take the battle to Daxe.
I think you're completely right. Going forward, he has to change something because he hasn't been able to find the space. He hasn't been able to get down the wings. It's been cut off by the fullbacks. It's been cut off by the CDMs. And it just hasn't allowed the potential for him to actually get any flowing attacking football. Maybe a 4-2-2 will allow that. Suddenly the LAM and the RAM, they've got a little bit more space. They can play 1-2s with the strikers who are actually going to come into things. I just want to see something different from Zidane.
Certainly set up nicely for this second leg. A 2-goal advantage for PSG's Daxe is not insurmountable, as we know, for the Spaniard. And I'm sure that everyone at home will be hoping that Zidane can get back into this one early and make a real game of this. We know he's got a big fan, and we thank everybody who's at home at the moment supporting him and showing love for the Spaniard in the chat. So make sure that you send him as many Vamoses as you possibly can. And if you're a Daxe fan, of course, we want to see some LAs as well. And I wonder what it's going to turn out. Are we going to say LA or are we going to say Ramos? Ramos? We might say Ramos at some point, but probably Vamos.
I don't know if we will. Just the way things have been going, Mark. I'm struggling to see where Zidane's going to find those chances. I mean, we do have a big difference in terms of players and where they are in the leaderboards. As Wonderboy said, we do see Daxe in the top 10 at the moment. For Zidane, though, this is his first tournament. He's 148th at the moment. Just to put it into a scenario of how big a win this would be for him, he'd go up from 148th all the way to around 32nd to 35th, depending on points elsewhere. But that is a chance to get close to that playoff possibility, Mark. Just one good tournament, and suddenly you have that real chance to shine in front of the biggest stage of them all.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that you've got to keep in mind, certainly for all of these players. It's why they work so hard to qualify for these tournaments, why they put in the hours in the qualifying tournaments to even have the opportunity to play here. It's all about those points and all about that end goal, getting to that FIFA eWorld Cup final. And as you say, playing under the bright lights and on that biggest stage of them all in front of as many people as you could possibly imagine as a FIFA competitor. But one thing that Daxe has got to be careful of, I feel, in this second leg is he doesn't take his eye off the ball here, because he knows that he could potentially be going up against F2 Tex or Megabit in this next game. Now, we know that he's struggled a little bit against F2 Tex when they've come up against each other. He's had very, very close games, but you need to get there first. You need to give yourself that opportunity to right those wrongs.
I mean, who hasn't struggled against F2 Tex when they come up against him? Let's be honest, but I don't think that's even going to be in the mind of Daxe at the moment. It's just focus on what's in front of him, close out this game, get to that console final. It would be his best finish so far in FIFA 19. It would be an incredible 450 points for him, of course, and then he has the chance to get another 850 Global Series points if he were to win that console final and get to the cross-console final. But focus on what's in front of him now. Keep playing the way he's playing. He's currently holding Zidane at bay. Zidane had the second most goals in the tournament on the Xbox side of things before this game. And Daxe has just managed to completely cut out any attacking ability whatsoever. It really has been fantastic.
Yeah, it's been very exciting to watch. Of course, FT Tech's taking on Megabit is going to come up pretty soon after this game as well. And that's going to be an interesting game as well, just as we're waiting to get back into this second leg here, because I had a quick word with Tex before, a little bit earlier on in the day, and he was saying he's not a big fan of playing against Megabit. He really struggles against him. He's just one of those players, but also that's what Tex is always like, isn't he? He's always like, oh, I'm not sure if I'm going to win this next game. So that's certainly going to be an exciting one, but let's focus on what we've got in front of us now, and that is, of course, the second leg here of this semi-final. The console final here for the Xbox is what both of these players are playing for a spot in. 2-0, the deficit between the two players, a 2-goal cushion here for Daxe. And he's going to win the ball back almost immediately from the kickoff there, so not the strongest of starts here from Zidane.
And Zidane really needed a strong start as well. Struggling so much in the first leg and already giving that ball away is just going to play into the game plan, the master plan of Daxe here, of just keeping the ball away from Zidane. That's all he needs to do. He will win the game if he just stops Zidane from attacking, which is what he did so well in the first leg. R9 goes down in the box. But it is a fair foul, says the referee.
Now, I think the 4-2-2's been used here at the start of the game from Zidane. I can see two players up top. You've got R9, you've got CR7. So we'll have to see if that works out for him. Does look for CR7 in the box. He timed the header, but not quite enough power on the cross to find that Portuguese Team of the Year foot iron. And now you see Daxe come forward, and he's changing his play up a little bit. That time lofting that ball into Luka Modric, but Laurent Blanc comes in. Wins the ball back here, and it certainly looks like a 4-2-2 to me.
Certainly two strikers, yep. Just trying to change things up a little bit different. Get four players forward. Maybe he has them all four of them on stay forward as well. As Mbappe's made a great run, and this is the kind of chance he wasn't getting in the last game. Instantly, the 4-2-2 has opened up that little bit more space, but again, incredibly well defended by Daxe. Just getting up, pressurizing that striker, and choosing to dive in at the right moment.
I think that, to be honest with you, Daxe isn't being made to work that hard to defend in these areas. Finally, Mbappe uses a little bit of skill to get around the outside of Marcelo, but Zidane's just kind of showing his back to the player and turning left and right, not showing too much in the form of creativity, but now he's whipping one ball in. Hullit's underneath it, sends it towards goal.
Oh my God.
First real shot here, to be honest with you, to talk about in nearly 100 minutes of FIFA 19 for the Spaniard, but at least encouraging signs and showing that the change of formation is creating some chances for him.
And that's what he wants to try and do. He wants to just try and make Daxe feel less comfortable, because Daxe has looked so comfortable in this leg so far that he would be thinking, look, I'm just cruising through to the console final at this point. I'm not even worried. But now Zidane can just plant that little seed of doubt. But Daxe can instantly turn that round into a goal of his own. Modric turns!
Oh, wow. De Gea manages to grab it out of the air as well. Fantastic handling. That's one of those shots that you feel is always going to be parried back into a danger area. But De Gea managed to hold on to it, and now that's sprung an attack here for Zidane. Down the right-hand side, Cristiano Ronaldo's there. That's why players are using Ramos in at right back.
This is the problem. You want Mbappe on the left-hand side, crossing to Ronaldo on the right-hand side, so that Ronaldo's going up against Marcelo. Zidane's done the right thing in switching things up and getting a little bit more space, but if you're going to be crossing it, you got to do it from the other side. You got to take advantage of the height of Marcelo. Ramos, that's why he's there. He's got to be winning those headers.
This is a Dr. Arjano. He said he thanked his coach for making that exact decision, saying play CR7 on that right-hand side, go down the left-hand side, and as you say, take advantage of the height differential between those two players. The reason people are using Ramos at right back is to stop those headed goals towards the back post. That was a prime example of defensively why he's there.
And in theory, that's a chance that goes missing realistically for Zidane. If you had mirrored it to the other side, that's a possibility of a goal. And now it gives Daxe another chance going forward. He can get back to his game plan of just playing possession-based football, switching the play when he recognises any sort of pressure on either side of the pitch. Zidane is trying to pressure with two players at a time now. He's upped the ante a little bit, upped the speed, but Daxe is more than comfortable. He is more than happy to just quickly pass, and just making sure he's hitting first-time passes every single time to make sure he gets past two of those players. I said past a lot there.
Yeah. Well, that's
past, present, and future.
That's what Daxe does. He likes to pass. Zidane then had a much better start, a much brighter start to this second leg, as Cristiano Ronaldo now tries to find the ball back inside to Neymar. But again, getting into these advanced positions, seeming a little devoid of ideas of how he wants to go forward and how he wants to try and create chances.
And I think when you are up against a player who is playing possession-based football and they are just controlling the game and they're stopping you having that many chances, when you do get that one chance, you kind of snap at it because you think, oh, I have to make this count. And then you end up doing something really poor with it in the end. You really just have to stay calm, recognize there is still plenty of time in this game, and still build up for that chance. Zidane's managed to get so many goals already this tournament. He just needs to be focusing on how he was able to achieve those goals.
Here comes Daxe then. Already 2 goals to his name on aggregate. Kante gives the ball away though to Ronaldo. He's been guilty of that a few times, Daxe. And now Mbappe flies down this right-hand side. Cuts back inside, tries to find the run of R9. Ferdinand again gets there first, and Daxe. Ooh, a little flutter of the heart there from both of us, and a little smile coming in from Zidane as well. He thought that might have been his golden ticket back into this.
But not even a flinch in terms of Daxe. He was still stone cold focused. My fear is we have seen Daxe in these situations, when he does have this cushion, and when he does just start passing it around and then makes a mistake here or there instead of maybe playing it forward. Against Nicolas Razek, for example. Nicolas Razek, who didn't have his fair share of possession. He was dominated, I think, 70% to 30% last weekend, and still was able to get those goals against Daxe in the later stages of the game. I feel like a third goal would really kill off this game, but at 2-0, there's always still a chance. Despite the fact Zidane's done very little, there's always that possibility of getting back into it.
Here comes Daxe once more, then Vieira will beat Kante to the ball. And now a chance to counter-attack. You can see Daxe is trying to manually mark that run off Cristiano Ronaldo. R9 going to use Mbappe. There's space out wide here for Neymar as well when he finds the Brazilian on this left-hand side.
Oh,
unfortunately, though, he just runs the ball out of play.
And he had kept it in as well.
Inexcusable.
He had kept it in. Well, I don't know if it was a mistake on the right stick. He was trying to do a skill move, perhaps, but either way, he needs to do better going into this second half of the second leg. But look how tight a game that is. Only 2 shots on one side, 1 on the other, and possession very much in favour of Daxe, again, as we would expect. And you always ask me, Mark, you say, when is the situation where players need to just switch things up again and go even more attacking? I'd say probably just after half-time, maybe try 10 more minutes with this 4-2-2.
I think you have to cue the pause pretty soon, especially when you're playing against someone like Daxe, because the ball might not go out for 30 minutes in game here. So I think you have to cue the pause up probably now, just in case. Obviously, Daxe with the ball as well, so it's a tough one. We'll have to keep an eye on when that pause gets queued up and when he does change formation completely, maybe introduce some fresh legs.
But at the same time, if you do queue up your pause up, it does scream to your opponent. It says, this is going to be so dangerous. I need to make a change. I'm scared of my opponent. But Zidane going forward is creating a little bit more. He's starting to get crosses into the box. He's making Daxe actually answer something, but he's just put it out from a corner. Simple mistakes again and again from Zidane.
Daxe once more then on the attack. And you feel like one more goal in this for the Frenchman would pretty much sum everything up. Pretty much wrap everything up. As Marcelo now comes down this left-hand side. Trying to fight off the attentions there of Mbappe, but Mbappe gets back and makes the tackle. The question is now, can Zidane, when he gets into these advanced positions on the mat, on the pitch, excuse me, can he create something? Can he put it to use? Because he's been pretty ineffectual going forward so far. Looks a little bit devoid of ideas, but it's amazing what a goal can do for you, Dan. If he finds one here, there's always a chance.
For the majority of the game, it's felt like kind of an adult team against an under-12s team, in that Daxe has just really controlled the ball and almost held his hand out and watched a child just run into it and not be able to get close enough to the ball. Because Zidane's just been chasing around Daxe the whole pitch, but he is getting corners now, and finally he gets a shot on goal. And that was the chance, the breakaway, to get back into the game. Daxe now, with 30 minutes left, is starting to present slightly more opportunities to Zidane by giving the ball away a little bit more than he was originally. Maybe he's starting to get a little bit hot under the collar here as he realizes how close he is to a console final.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's not just Zidane who's under pressure here. Look at the space, though, for Daxe. Neymar around the corner to Mbappe. We've seen so many goals from this angle. Both of Daxe's goals were almost carbon copies of that chance. However, De Gea in behind that one. And now Zidane comes forward again. Half an hour to make something happen here. Half an hour to rally the Spanish troops at home. Get behind his man. As Hullet comes forward once more. Neymar on the edge of the box.
And it is crazy how now Zidane is starting to get a little bit more possession. Daxe has just dropped back that even further, it would seem. And he is trying to absorb a little bit of pressure, hoping to cut off Zidane, and he is cutting him off very effectively. But I feel like Daxe has had a couple of opportunities to finish this game. In that previous attack, he could have played it out to Mbappe so much earlier, and Mbappe was in acres, but he went back. But now he's going to get these chances. Now Daxe sees that Zidane's going forward. He's going to have opportunities to play through balls and get that chance for that third goal.
Well, here is that pause, and you're going to see some changes coming in. We're watching through the point of view of PSG's Daxe, so we'll be able to see some of the personnel changes that he is going to be introducing. However, on the other side of things, that's where the real interest is. Because obviously Zidane needs to find goals now. He's 2 down, and he's running out of time here, Dan.
And that's the thing, he doesn't look like someone who has scored 28 goals so far in this tournament. You wonder where he's found those goals, but it's not a discredit to how Zidane's playing, because going forward, we know what a fantastic player he is, but it's just defensively, Daxe has been phenomenal. And we look at champions in the previous tournaments, we look at Nicholas and how he played. Defensively, phenomenal. And that was why he was winning tournaments. And if you can just work from the back and you can defend well, naturally you're going to have that possession, naturally you're going to find those chances and get those goals. It's a real shame that Zidane is coming up against someone who is just performing out of their mind in terms of defensive skill.
Daxe patiently waiting then for the changes to come in. Three seconds countdown means that we'll be getting straight back into it now. Looks like another pause is actually being queued up here, and it's 4-2-4 now from Zidane. Little tip for everyone at home is maybe looking for a couple of extra wins in weekend league, using that player ratings to check what formation your opponent, excuse me, is going to be using, so that you can adjust your tactics and keep an eye on those runs. It's exactly what PSG's Daxe is doing, and using all of his experience here. With just over 20 minutes left in this game, it's up to the Spaniard to make something happen.
Yeah, he's more than happy to keep passing backwards. If he doesn't see the perfect opportunity presented, he's going to go back and he's going to reset. Because he doesn't want to give Zidane too much possession. He doesn't want to give Zidane the chance to get back into this game. The throw-in's gone out for Daxe there, which is actually the perfect result. Maybe he thought he had given the ball away, and again, even though Zidane is getting in, he's getting a touch, it's still going out in favour of Daxe, and that's exactly what he needs. Just to waste more time and get closer to that console final.
Yeah, going to be some real frustration coming in here from Zidane, but this is what Daxe can do. He can break it down not only in game, but mentally. He's so good at just grinding you down. It's mental disintegration, as the Australian cricket captain Steve Waugh used to say. Marcelo now whips the ball into the back post. There might be a chance. Efusi Eusebio, can Hullet get there? He does! A lifeline here for Zidane. Ruud Hullet comes up with the goods. And for everything that PSG's Daxe has done, Zidane has found a way back into this.
And that fireplace has not been burning at all for the entire game, but finally, a slight spark, a little bit of smoke. Maybe that ember can grow into a full flame here for Zidane. He can finally cling on to a little bit of hope to say, I just need one more chance, and I'm back in it. I can take it to extra time. It doesn't matter if I've been played off the park for the last 75 minutes. There's only one goal in it now. Game on.
He needs the ball, though. Has time on his side. You have to feel that he'll get possession at least once, and there it is. Patrick Vieira comes in. Look at the run from CR7. Ronaldo now, out wide to Pele. Might just throw this one into the box, but Messi fresh on the pitch now. Wins the ball back for Daxe. And that just means more seconds are going to be ticking off the clock here. And it means there might be one more chance for the Frenchman just to put this game to bed.
We can see how not getting that third goal is hurting Daxe now. Because at every attack he's under pressure, but he can put it away! He gets put under pressure, but now, surely, he seals the deal here against Zidane. And you were asking what we were going to be shouting, Mark. There were slight emissions of Vamos. but they've been piped down.
Fantastic stuff from PSG's Daxe again, finding that ball into the box, and the finish, waiting for the goalkeeper to move, comes in from Eusebio. As you say, there was a glimmer of hope for Zidane. It was a messy way to get back into things, but everything counts as far as goals are concerned. But that might just be the end of his tournament here in London. I'm sure he's done everyone back at home proud, and he's not giving up. Ball back into the box for Rankisser. Gets an important fluid here, and there might be another couple of chances here. He might be able to get back into this game.
And you wouldn't think it would handle the first half.
It's round one, there it is, it's Pele! Game on!
But he's just had a little blow onto that fire once again. He saw that it's still there, and he's trying to get as much oxygen to it as possible. And just when Daxe thought he had killed it off.
And look at Daxe. Look at Daxe's reaction,
It's frustration. And again, it means these last 5 minutes are going to be absolute torture for Daxe every single time Zidane has the ball.
All right then. Just as I thought this one was over, I should know better by now. Game of FIFA 19 is not over until that final whistle blows. Can Zidane get that ball back once more? Can he carve out one more opportunity in this game?
And judging from the first 60, 70 minutes, probably you'd say no.
Oh, he's got the ball back.
Judging from these last 15, you've got to feel like there's going to be that one final chance.
Here's Pele then. There's a run from Hullet round the corner. Daxe is looking nervy now. Hullet's inside the box. It's CR7. Varane makes the tackle though. Oh my word, what a finish this has been to this game. We're into stoppage time now. And Daxe can go straight up the other end and maybe finish this, but blocks wrestling away and wins the ball back. Can Pele get there? No, he can't.
And now
Daxe is holding on for dear life here, Dan.
It's just keep ball for Daxe. It's very much squeaky bum time, and he hopes that he's not going to give it away one more time. Surely it's enough.
Ball stays in here, and I think that is going to be it. The final whistle goes, and it's LA. PSG Daxe scrapes his way through into the console final. It was a crazy end to a crazy couple of games of FIFA 19, but another step towards becoming a champion for that man on your screen.